slide is essentially year over year within our expenses, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth on that.
And the insurance, what does that cover? That big nut, that fire, is it
Property
just,
casualty.
is it everything?
What do you mean by everything?
Does it cover camp too, or that's just Randolph?
It is our current liability policy, which is just our property here, plus an umbrella policy, which is an extension to our policy that covers us, I think, up to $2 million or something along those lines. I can get you the exact, but right now today, that's the, so we've had these policies. I can be transparent if you wanted to look at it. It's a few-page document that goes over our insurance, but it's for our property and that we are liable and insured. Okay. So this is a year over year. On the first column here are our yearly expenses going from our insurance to our Randolph Township water and sewer, our Jersey Central Power and Electric, Dover Water Commission, Blue Diamond Disposal. Some of these are just how it's I could clean that up, but NJ Natural Gas. Those are our core expenses, the ones that we can't peel back. We need to remove trash, right? We need a means of doing that. We need gas to burn. And then we have our our internet, cleaning service. Actually, let me just go through these. Our internet, so we televise not televise, we through a YouTube app, through the internet, we broadcast our service. Cleaning service, we did not have that in 2019. We'll talk about that in just a second. Myers Property Management is our landscaping / former snow removal company that we use. Gathering, which obviously is our gathering expense. Lunch expense. Streaming installation, we don't need that anymore. I'd probably take that one out unless we have a new streaming provider, meaning through the means of broadcasting our service. Church supplies, which essentially are just the cups and plates, and we actually buy them through the Allen Paper Company in New Jersey. Any church events that are happening, I'm using church in the raw sense, so, and then any outings, CYC, junior CYC, senior CYC, any bank fees, there weren't any. Projects, so projects is an interesting one. So you see in 2017 we have for $10,000, that would be what we put toward the septic, right? And then if we have any other projects, so this year in 2019 we didn't really have any projects, right? We didn't make any improvements on any sheds, we didn't fix the gutters, or we didn't really have any. So signs, when we're making the signs, that would be a project, right? We're putting up signs to the at the chapel, that would be considered a project. So any improvements like that, that would go toward the project, and then any miscellaneous. So really I just want to bring up some, so Randolph Town and water and sewer is down nearly 50%. It's so you see here, some of the green will show if we're down, which I call that positive or green. If we're down year over year from 2019 to 2018. Reason for that, I think the rates have changed within the Randolph sewer town, as well as usage, so we used it less. There was a $2,000 in savings making the decision to clean the chapel ourselves. That's a big point. We saved about $2,000 by cleaning the chapel ourselves, which are off the books in 2019. So just something to think about. That was a decision that happened in 2019. Our junior CYC expense did increase in 2019, but we also have a larger junior CYC with a combined senior and junior activity. So that's where you really see that growth, because you don't see any senior events. They kind of have a joint event. So otherwise it would be extrapolated. Lunch expenses decreased by 32% year over year as we incorporated more efficient lunches and potlucks. So we saved about $400 year over year by doing that. So hats off to everyone too. And I know it takes a lot of work to put on a lunch, and I thank each of you for those of you who volunteered for that, and being mindful of, we have a $250 budget that for lunches, and for those that incorporate it, whether it be a potluck and or more efficient lunches, I do thank you for that. So because we did save year over year. As I mentioned, no projects in 2019, and then excuse me. If you can see here, the Myers property management, and then obviously our insurance. So our insurance, as you know with your insurance, goes up every year, right? About 4 to 5%. And so that's a continual expense, and we could always review our, who our provider is for that, but that seems about the rate of increase. And then also the Myers property, so that has decreased about 4.4%, but if you can remember in 2019, it's hard to remember this year because we didn't really have snowfall, but last year we had an incredible amount of snowfall in 2019. So we incurred a lot of expenses, which is why we changed our snow removal provider, and that's another reason why you see that one to two spots of the snow removal service. We actually have a very much decreased rate by using the service of the provider sorry, what's his name? Leo's. So we have a better rate, so we're saving money there. He has 1 to 2 spots, which is why you see that, and it's on the far side. So that's why you see that in case we weren't transparent enough. And why is this guy parked here?
He watches a lot in case when it's sitting there at night, he flashes his trucks.
It's also our part-time security, apparently. Free of charge. So this is our snow removal. So, but that same Myers Property Management is the same service we still use for landscaping. So that is that. I'll be brief in the next two, and then I'll sit down. So just a pie chart of what that looks like between all of our expenses. Obviously, the two large slices in terms of our insurance. And the Myers Property Management insurance is about 24% of our expenditure. So think about one of every $4 that we go towards our insurance. So it's very important to have insurance because of that. And Myers Property Management, the upkeep of the outside of the property is where that goes toward. And then you have lunch expenses, 3% of our total budget. Just think about that. It's only 3%. Gathering, only 5% that we put on this year. Church supplies, only 6%. So JCP&L, keep the lights on, 10%. So you can see where some of these buckets go, but definitely our insurance and then our internal property management is where a lot of that goes. I know I went through a lot of material here. Any questions? Rhoda, go ahead.
It's a minor question.
No.
When we have these lunches like today, is there like a charge for that, standard charge, or does it change depending on what we're having?
Is there a standard charge? Well, when we don't have a potluck,
Yeah.
when we have a potluck, we typically do not collect, but when we have a lunch like that, it's a free will offering, right? And so to offset the expense. However, we've gotten it down to such a rate that it's really built into our expenses. So I appreciate that if there is, but obviously it's really free will at that point. So if for a lunch like downstairs, so it's obviously under our budget. Thank you, Tom. And well, it took a lot of work to do that, right? In trying to getting that budget, but really that covered everything, that lunch. So I do appreciate that. Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Obviously, you can ask for any questions. One little caveat here, last slide. When writing out checks, if you could just please make it out to the Christadelphia Ecclesia Church. That is our legal licensed name. So if somebody wants to go down to Trenton and change their name, that's going to still be our name for now. I do appreciate those that follow that. The Wells Fargo will take if it's something else, I think because they just like me there. But it does help when the person doesn't know me. And they go, what's all these different names? I had to kind of dance. And then lastly, the camp donations go to Christadelphian Bible Camp Corp. So those are the two when writing out checks. Christadelphian Ecclesia Church is for here, Randolph Hall. And then if you want to make a check out to the camp, or you can go to Christadelphian Bible Camp Corp. That's all the questions. Brother Danny, go ahead.
What was Sunday school again?
Sorry, 0.4% of expenses.
The Sunday school takes the collection, so they usually spends out on whatever, trips or whatever else, so that's just Sunday school supplies, right?
Sunday schools, that's a good point. So Sunday school donations are outside of the ledger of the Randolph. So we keep it as separate. What we take in for the Sunday school is solely for the Sunday school for the events. So we keep that off these books. Yeah.
So there's room to spend more money on Sunday school. It's a critical area.
Good observation. Yeah. Any other questions? See any hands? And again, if you have any questions or just don't feel like talking in a big group, just come up to me and I'm happy to help you. And I'm at every board meeting as well. Thank you.
Thanks. Why don't we lead that right into Sunday school, Dave? And Dave, maybe you can elaborate on it. You know, that money we collect, you spend on the event, on the planning issue. That's separate from what's budgeted for the Sunday school classes.
I think before I became the superintendent, I think we were doing what we've done, as I can recall, which was just like a collection in the classrooms downstairs, right? So when I moved up to Canada, over at Mountain Grove, they had kids do the collection before they. So we did it the first year. We cleared like $1,200 the first year. So because of that, I haven't had to ask the board for any money. Every trip has been funded, except last year, there was some money from Barbara that helped fund the Sunday school trip, which we'll get into. So hopefully that clears it up. So, and this year, the money goes to them, and keeps track of that. So. That was the best year we ever had. It was like you're all shocked. So I think over the course of the years, you come to meetings Sunday with smaller bills. I was getting 20s. Crazy. Really, thank you. So last year was a very good year. We had our entertainment April 28th.
When's it this year?
Great question. It's scheduled for the 26th of April. However, I'm just waiting for board approval. One of our teachers, something came up, can't make it. I asked the ranking board if we could bump it back 1 week to May 3rd. Do we have an answer on that? Or? Teachers are good for it? Good. Okay, so the entertainment will be May the 3rd, and starting this week, you'll be seeing that every week in the announcements. Okay? Our Sunday school trip. We had a pretty big one last year. On June 16th, it was a Saturday, we went to the Bronx Zoo. We rented 2 nice charter buses. The company was Randolph. They picked us up here. I thought they were wonderful. They were professional, the buses were clean and on time. Remember, the weather was great. This is a great thing. I mean, I don't know what you typically expect for an ecclesial function. We had purchased almost 80 tickets to get into the zoo. That was a very large turnout. So 2 full buses, as well as I think a few others. I think the Woods drove van and met us there. So that was wonderful. And that cost around $3,000 for everything. 2/3 of it, I believe, came from 2 previous years of collecting Sunday morning. And then we had some money left graciously by Aunt Barbara. She wanted to go to the ecclesia and involve the children. So it was a really nice trip. As far as this year, I'm not so sure. We don't have a lot in there. I have some ideas. I'll talk to the regular board about that later. Then we had the camp season. Again, it's crazy. There's over 40 kids when you combine the schools. So everybody pitched in, and everyone that taught the class, we say thank you. We'll need you again. We capped the season off with our Sunday school picnic. That was September 1st. I didn't do any of it. It was really all the Larson and the Paul Hamises. They planned it and they ran everything, the barbecue and the activities, and whoever else helped out, we appreciate it. And we opened up Sunday school here a little bit later this time. We started, I think, the first week of October. No real changes to report. Same 4 classes, same teachers, same groups, same curriculum. Using the curriculum from Christadelphian Sunday School Association out in Australia. Been using that since I've been doing this, so that was about a decade. So that's really it. Again, the entertainment is now going to be the 3rd of May. Camp season will be approaching, so all hands on deck. I will be posting a schedule on the bulletin board in 2 weeks. I'll have it up there, so please check your calendars and please we need volunteers. And lastly, if you'd like to teach in the fall, if you have any interest at all in teaching for the first time or teaching again one of the Sunday school classes, come see me. We have wonderful teachers, but they've been doing it for a long time. Maybe they want to step out and come upstairs and get that. Or like they tell me, they get a ton out of teaching the kids. your way to the scene. That's all I have. Any questions, Frank? Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. Good job.
Tom, do you want to say a few things about the blood drive, just from last year, how many we got, and what you're planning for this year?
Yeah,
Stand up,
last
so
year,
it might be here.
oh, okay. Last year between both drives, I think we had about between 72 and 78 donations, which comes out to about, 3 people times 78 is the lives that we touch with the donations that the Red Cross uses. I think since we've teamed up with the Red Cross, they gave me some numbers I wish I was prepared.
What's the date, because they're listening on the microphone. So what's the date of the blood drive this year? Blood drive?
This year, April 18th.
April 18th.
April 18th.
My goodness, buddy. All
So we've got about
right. Where is it, here or at the camp?
It's here.
It's here, okay.
It's here.
All right, everybody got that, April 18th.
Don't go to the camps.
Yeah, we won't go to the camp. Let's call on Brother James, a little camp overview, we got a lot of stuff is still going on, being planned, but at least James can give you what's going on, what's next, what's some project that we're scheduled, and how we're doing.
All right, so I had a couple of random things. So some camp things and some other stuff. So I guess starting with the camp, the committee, we plan on meeting next week to review the upcoming year. We've already started to get some things in place. But one thing we were talking about doing was maybe looking to schedule the camp meeting a little bit later. I know that's we're still working through that, but what we're trying to do is maybe have it at the camp so that we get like everybody there. So it's going afterwards here. We would like more people there, so we're talking about that. From last year, and we'll go over a lot of this stuff at the camp meeting, but the septic system is basically complete. There's a bunch of ancillary improvements that are still going with that. So we have the sidewalk in, which if you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. They did a great job. I think a lot of us are happy that we have the guys come in and help us out because they did a nice job, professional looking and everything. So there's a lot of landscape still there that we have to do. There's seating, the video for outdoors and getting that sort of seating area set up. And we'll be looking at doing that early this year so that it's done and in place for this year. And so with that, we'll talk more. We'll let you know when the camp meeting is going to be, and we'll talk more about it there. Just a quick note on the softball benefit. So from last year, I think it's something to note. We raised approximately $30,000 last year, and we had 2 beneficiaries, Leanna Giordano and Carlos Rodriguez. So if you guys remember Remy, who spent the summer here, that was her father. He had cancer, and I actually got a note from her, so I'd like to read this. I just got this just a couple days ago, so I'll read this for you. Just to everyone. I'm so sorry this is long overdue. As you may now know, my dad passed away the morning of January 1st. I was able to be there when he left this world. He was surrounded by a rather odd collection of people in his last days: his landlady, a death doula, his housekeeper, his 2 daughters. We were a collection, mostly of women that held space for him while the Lord called him to sleep. The donations that came from all of you, large and small, are on a list in my heart as one of the most generous and life-altering acts of goodness that I have ever experienced. The money that was given was just the right amount, down to the final dollars. My heart is so full for all that was given to our cause. You made a huge difference in the lives of many. It's sad that this money didn't save his life, but honestly, what did take place was something that holds a lot of beauty and transformation for me and those who were with him in the end. The story of his last days has sealed for me a faith that is now unshakable. The Lord showed me some really, really amazing stuff, and the peace of our Lord Jesus is forever in my heart. My father was beyond grateful for the donation that was made. It changed the course of his life, as short as the rest of it was. I don't think anyone in his whole life had shown him that level of care, and I know it touched him deeply to his core every day. It's weird losing a person so inextricably fused with your entire foundation, but we're all doing all right. I am forever grateful for being given the chance to show up and give it my all, and you all are part of that, so thank you. I would not have been able to do this without what was given. With everything I have, thank you so much. And then finally, if you're interested, I still have 1 billion of his paintings, and I would love to give one to anyone who felt called to have one, so just reach out. So if you like paintings and you want one of his paintings, let me know, I'll tell Remy. So that was just a quick on last year. This year we're planning again for Memorial Day weekend, which is May 22nd through 24th. It'll be the same format as last year, Saturday at the Field of Dreams and Independence, Sunday at the camp. In terms of the games, obviously the class and everything like that is at the camp on Saturday night. We're looking for beneficiaries. We're following up on a couple people. If you know of anybody who needs help, please let us know. And then we'll give more information out as we move along. And then finally, just, I don't have a necessarily note, but something just to mention. We again just received just a big kind of thanks email from the people down at the Essex County Foster Care Agency for the gifts that everyone gave them for Christmas. There were 20 teenage kids who received gifts who they don't get stuff like that. So for them, it sort of really is a very bright time for them to get gifts like that and to know that somebody out there actually cares enough for them. So that was, again, beyond well received. So I figured I'd just let you know that.
Okay, good. CYC report. Brother Justin, can you give us a CYC report?
Hello. I'll start off saying I'm personally happy to report that we actually have a senior CYC. I know if you weren't aware, the last couple of years we didn't have one, so we started back up in, I believe it was September or October, meeting at the camp. We met at the camp through December. We took a little break around the holidays, and we've started back up again in January. We've been rotating around different locations, different homes and houses. We average about 5 or 6 young people in the CYC. The format we've had, the brothers in the CYC have been taking turns leading about 10 or 15 minute or so classes, followed by a group discussion of about the same length. And we've been getting together most Fridays, unless since it's small, if there's people away, we might skip a week, but most Fridays we've been pretty consistent. I do want to say, thus far, the group, we've basically restricted it to about 17 or 18 and older. And the reason why we did this is the last couple times we've started up CYC, it's kind of sputtered out basically and not really lasted for a year. So we wanted to make sure we had a good foundation underneath us before kind of inviting in the younger group to join us. But our goal, now that we've a good group going, a good foundation, is to start to integrate the younger teenagers, maybe the 13 and 14-year-olds. So if you're a parent, or if you're a 13-year-old, or if you're a parent of a 13-year-old, we're likely going to be reaching out to you over the next couple of weeks, just to discuss logistics and getting that going. And then hopefully next year we can get the ground running with that. Any questions about CYC?
Okay. Sister Debbie gave me a quick overview of Sisters class. It's on Thursdays still, noonish, or? Okay. The Life of Jesus, Melvin Perkins. And they've also been donating to Agape. So we've been supporting the Christadelphian outreach at Agape. So we are, and I know we do the Meal of Day. I didn't even note that, but I know this last week individuals have been contributing to Meal of Day. So we do other donations as well. Sister Sherry gave me a note because she's in sunny Florida, but she sent me a report. Basically, I won't read it all, but to highlight it. A lot of it, of course, is great. I mean, it's just, she's very upbeat. Thank God we have Sherry, because she seems to get her arms around a lot of things, including the Sunday afternoon and Sunday, the coordination of the Sunday meetings. So she says here, we've enjoyed a musical presentation and hymn sing, fun working and demonstrating our acting abilities. This is when they've had the afternoon meetings with Bible pantomimes. We held a gathering, annual gathering, November 2nd, 3rd, as you all know. We had Brother Bill Yake and Brother Michael from Virginia, Brother Michael McDonald from Finger Lakes. The theme was from Luke 21:28, and when these things begin to come to pass and look up, lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Always a highlight with a new twist this year was our Winter Fun Day. We enjoyed fabulous food, an amazing cupcake contest. Congratulations to all our winners, Heather Paul Hamus, Ellie Robato, the dynamic duo of Katie Paul Hamus and RJ Canfield. The best part was the Burmese Python. I remember that if you were here, as part of the presentation from Rizzo's Wildlife Discovery. She just put huge. If you saw that steak, it was a huge steak, big green one, or yellow one, yellow-green. We also enjoyed the opportunity to visit with families and brothers and sisters on visiting days. We are all part of God's family. He has given us amazing blessings in this ecclesia. Please continue to support our programs. We still have fun activities to come, including the entertainment and a volunteer opportunity. Stay tuned. And last but not least, she says, plans are underway for the 2020, Lord willing, for our fraternal gathering. So feel free to reach out if you have any ideas or you'd like to be on the committee. So she's a go-getter. We need more Sherrys. And she does a great job in help coordinating a lot of those things. So that's her report. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I did mention, I think this is the second year of the East and West Bible class. So I know we always implore everyone to come out to class. So we've been averaging on the East between 12 to 14 to 20, depending on how heavy. Been a little lighter lately, but that's roughly on the East class. Then there's a West class. What do you think has been averaging the West Bible class Wednesday night? 8, 10?
Right now, it's 7 to 10.
7, 8. Okay, and then I know in Randolph there's one smaller class as well. So I guess when you combine them all, you know, we've got 30 some odd people going to class during the week, which is great. But we implore you all to support the Bible classes for 2 reasons, really 3, but 2 main reasons. One, it's good for you. And if you can make it out, it's good for you because this is, instead of once a week coming around, I know there's also sisters classes at CYC, but you're getting to meet or be around your brothers and sisters. Hopefully you're learning something because, you know, iron sharpens iron, right? You're learning something. We're learning some good things. We're studying life in the Lord, you know, in terms of very basic, really just living our lives in the truth. What's that all about? So that's a good class that's going on the East and the West. What are you studying, Vin, on the West?
2 Samuel.
2 Samuel. So anyway, so if you can come out, support, we appreciate it. It's always a good thing to have more people out. And you're also a help for other people that may need that extra push. So that's what we have so far. I think everything has been covered that I wanted to cover. Because I've had everybody do the presentation, so I didn't have to, so now it says annual report from me. Well, there's nothing else. I mean, I think we've pretty much covered all the events. Is there anything you think of that we might have left out that we could talk about? Roseanne?
I just had a question on the Sunday afternoon,
Okay.
dinners, lunches. Were we not supposed to have once in a while a social, so after lunch?
Okay.
We wouldn't have to rush upstairs and go to a class or a lecture or a quiz, but just have a social event where we could actually sit down and not be rushed upstairs.
Okay.
Wasn't that a board decision like 2 years ago? And I know we tried it, and it was very successful. Everyone stayed a couple of hours, and it was great.
Okay.
And I just wanted to know why that has gone away.
All right. Any input? I'm just trying to remember the. So you're saying just like downstairs, just stay downstairs and just hang out instead of coming upstairs.
Not every time, but once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we've.
Well, wasn't it a board decision last year or 2 years ago?
of just coming out, not coming upstairs? I'm trying to understand. Doug, you have a comment on that?
Yeah, 2 years ago,
Yeah,
there were those type of Sundays planned for the entire year.
right. Which Sherry now is overseeing the.
Well, then a new format was introduced this past year. That's the history of it. It was
Okay.
changed this year.
Yeah, I've got no comment.
That's is what it is.
Yeah,
We were doing
I
it
think
2
James
years-
has a.
We were doing it 2 years ago, and it wasn't scheduled this year.
Okay, go ahead, James.
Yeah, so we'll just work with the person now who's putting.
Can you speak up? 'Cause I can't hear you.
Not really. The person who's now doing the schedule, we'll just work that in.
Okay,
That's all. It's just because somebody new took over the scheduling and we just didn't get it in there, so.
okay.
We'll
Yeah, I mean, a lot of weight is on certain people that are doing a lot of the work, so I would ask that if you've got opportunity to meet or talk to Sherry or other people that have been pretty much taking the bull by the horns, because there's not a lot of people volunteering for a lot of these things that we're trying to do. And maybe in my little closing is, the way I define a real working ecclesia is when more people are doing more of the work. So we're asking everybody to participate. I think if it's down to a few people doing all the work, it's not so much the work, it's, you're not sharing amongst others. So if you got a suggestion like that, I mean, some things could fall on the wayside, but I think if you speak up, mention it in a nice, loving way to the people that are doing the organizing, putting these lists together and, all the things that we're trying to do to keep everybody involved, the better. So more people that can get involved. Again, this is not closed. Even our board meetings, they're open. We should only get either no visitors. This week we only had one visitor. So we don't really get a lot of people coming that are coming with new ideas so we can discuss them. But do things change? Yeah, I guess they do. But if you'd like to get involved, please. We'd like to get more people on these committees so it doesn't reduce it down to one person. Like for instance, I was talking to Brother Todd. He's getting speakers now for the camp. Well, it's just Brother Todd doing that. Maybe we need another one or two more people that can help Brother Todd to suggest more speakers that, especially if you guys go to gatherings, you go to Bible schools, and you hear a great speaker or a great class, mention it to Brother Todd. I mean, I think that's where we could all get more involved rather than put just the burden on one person organizing. So more the merrier. I want to get everybody involved. Doug?
That's a valid point to have kind of a subcommittee, but it's also critical that, you shouldn't just take it upon yourself to invite somebody up yourself.
What do you mean, invite somebody?
You shouldn't and just invite someone to come and speak. You need to go to the proper channels.
Oh, without a doubt.
Bring the name forward.
Oh, you're right.
Vetted, and then they're invited properly.
No, well, point well taken. We had someone that came to the camp last year that passed out a book that we found out later was kind of banned in England. So we have to be very careful when we invite people, not vetting it out to know who's coming. So we want to make sure we're doing the right thing. You're right, it's a good point. Any other points? I think we've covered pretty much everything for the year. It's been a great year. The good news, I mean, there was no deaths this year. Didn't have any births either. I mean, no deaths, no births, at least since last March to now. And one baptism. Anybody can guess who that was?
This case.
There she is. So we had one baptism, Liv, so that's a good piece of news, right? Hopefully there's more coming. So that's pretty much what I have. Unless there's any other questions, any other thoughts, we were pretty much ready to close. Anybody have anything to say? All right. We're going to read two really short scriptures, 10 verses, and then we'll pass out any blank ballots if you didn't get one, and then we'll have the ushers pick up the ballots, and then we'll close. So the first reading is going to be from 1 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, verses 1 to 7. 1 Timothy 3. This is a true saying, if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler or covetous. One that ruleth well in his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. And if any man know not how to rule his own house, how can he take care of the church of God? Not a novice, not being lifted up with pride. Up with pride he'd fall, unless he fall in condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach, okay, with the snare of the devil. And then we'll have, the next reading will be Titus, right after Timothy. Titus 1, 5 to 9, and then we'll close and pick up the balance. So 5 to 9, Titus 1, 5 to 9. For this cause I left thee in Crete, that thou shouldest set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain elders in every city, as I have appointed thee. If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly, for a bishop must be blameless, as the steward of God, not self-willed, not soon to be angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, holy, and temperate. Okay, so that's the reading. Again, the ballots, you can pick up to 7. So if you look at your ballot, can't have more, can have less, but put an X next to 6 names, and the 7th would be the S. That'll be for secretary. So please mark an X next to 6 brothers' names, and then an S next to your choice for secretary, for a total of 7. And I know some have asked earlier, the treasurer is an appointed position. That's why Ben is on here as a board member. He's also acting in a dual role. He's also the treasurer. But so there's no T for treasurer. S for secretary, or 6 X's for the other, which would be a total of 7. No more than 7. If it has more than 7, I discard it. Okay, so there's no way for us to know who the 7 are. So let's pass these. Does anybody that don't have a ballot? I know some have put some in here already. And I printed some. Let's just see if there's any. I've got more here. Here's more, Jason. There's more here. Anybody else need one?
You check the mailbox?
I did. Yeah, I checked it during right between Sunday schools. Nothing in there. 'Cause last week I had asked if anybody wasn't going to be here, if they couldn't get them in, to mail it to 322 South Bar Street, but I didn't see any in the mailbox. All right, so we'll wait a few minutes, and then we'll have the ushers pick them up, and then we'll close. Thank you for staying. So again, for those of you, you heard the announcement today, right? So we were going to have a passing out and a understanding of the statement of faith and getting the feel for the ecclesia in terms of, on the ballot. But because we had a board meeting on Thursday, there's no rush. So we're looking, James is coordinating it, but we're going to be printing what's being proposed and what is existing. So you'll have it in your hands, and if not next month, the following month, I'm sure we'd like to get it within the next 30 to 60 days, and then bring it to the ecclesia, and then make a decision one way or the other. I think we're good? Okay. Yeah, after today, that's it. All right, why don't we get a suggestion, and we'll close. We'll get a suggestion. What's a suggestion? Who's got one? Debbie? All right, okay, what's that? I used to know in the old book, 268, I don't know what it is in this one. Anybody know the number? What is it? 341. 341. Who else is here? You'll do it, don't worry, but then we'll do a cappella. So let's just start us off. Tracy will keep us going.
Yeah, okay, sure. Can't even